Hey, it's Joey Only here from Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, our Facebook group there with 14,800 people in British Columbia. And we have two of the people from that group. I'm here with Brandon Houck and Cody Lewis Peabody, and we're just talking about the Tonga eruption and some of the tsunami things, the advisories that went around, how people in British Columbia might have experienced it, and so on. So honestly, my I've been rebuilding after the great avalanche of 2022 here, which was the amount of snow that came off my roof. I think it was. I think we figured it's somewhere in the range of 40 to 50 tons of snow that probably came off the roof. Yes, rebuilding a chimney right to the point of it getting dark tonight. It was really, yeah. I carried a lot of bricks up there. It was awful. So I'm kind of out of date. Hey Ken Lord, good to see you, buddy. Don't know if you guys know Ken.
This was the happened around 3:45. This is the island before the major eruption. So it looks like this is a really interesting structure. Give me a second. I might have my mic.
Then maybe I'll just ask you, Brandon, about the tsunamis, and you have a video as well of the eruption.
Take that down. Let's show this video from the explosion earlier. There is some language in this video. Just be mindful of that. But yeah. So this was in Tonga, I believe, the sonic boom that went off that we were talking about there from this big explosion from this volcano earlier to this, about a 15-second video. I turned up the volume really, really high so everybody can hear. So I'm just going to turn it all the way up, and here we go. So this was the video today. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah.
Holy shit!
Wow.
So then they're all running for it. They heard that big sonic boom from earlier there. So yeah, I'll play that again here. Here we go. So we'll start from the beginning. They're all looking at the clouds, or at the volcano ash. There we go.
Holy shit!
And it sounded like gunshots going off. So I think this was Tonga, it says here. Yeah. Tonga or Fiji, I'm not quite sure where that video was taken, but yeah, it was pretty close. And I believe everyone in Fiji definitely heard there's another video. It's not as loud as that one, but you can kind of hear the bang in the background over the hills in Fiji from this bang. And I think even got reports folks in Alaska were able to hear it as well earlier this morning, about 3-4 o'clock this morning, of kind of a sonic boom. And a sonic shock wave went all around the world actually today from this whole event. So quite spectacular. I think we had like sonic waves here around 6 a.m. this morning. We didn't hear anything, but it was quite impressive to see that go around the world and then go across the Atlantic afterwards. And eventually I think saw reports in the UK as well. So very, very impressive how powerful this thing was today.
Right. What did you see about the tsunamis?
Yeah, the tsunamis today. There was a tsunami warning out for the American Samoa area after the volcano went off there. So we had a tsunami warning issued there. I haven't heard much on the what happened there, if there was any damage at all. And I bet there was probably a fairly massive tsunami that hit Tonga as well. So I believe services there, internet, phone, all those services are down there right now. So we will not be able to know the exact damage and what has happened in that country for quite some time till all that volcanic ash goes away, and might be days before we know. So that was that. And then the tsunami itself raced across the Atlantic. So we had the warning for the some of the small islands for the United States that they own down there. And then the tsunami wave went up towards Hawaii earlier today, and then eventually made its way towards the West Coast. And there were tsunami advisories. Now, there weren't any warnings issued, so nobody had to evacuate or anything like that today. But there were these advisories that are issued for warning people to stay off the coast or stay off the beaches at least. And that was the same thing for Australia and down to Chile. And I think they had some pretty big waves in the northern side of Chile as well. see if we could see some of these wave heights, these tsunami wave heights so far today. And the largest I can find here was Port San Luis, California, 4.3 feet, 131 centimeters. So that was the biggest on this chart today. And I believe there are a couple other big ones as well. King Cove, Alaska, 100 centimeters, and a couple others in 112 centimeters at Arena Cove, Crescent Cove. So they definitely had tsunami waves that even flooded some areas in California today. And I think parts of Oregon as well had the tsunami waves hit. And BC as well. Winter Harbor at 1 foot, about 29 centimeters, and about 16 centimeters at Tofino. So nothing too major, nothing too big. So we didn't have inundation there from these tsunami waves that moved their way onto the coastal sections of BC today. So it was just to be aware, but nothing too crazy. But it was very impressive to see these waves cross from Tonga all the way towards the BC coast, Alaska, and all the way down towards Chile as well. So they definitely made their distance in the last 12 hours.
Yeah, you shared a photo that Ryan Voutilainen took this morning in Tofino, and I invited Ryan to come on, but he wasn't available tonight. Unfortunately,
those were actually that he shared on the Twitter of these. There's these web cameras there that are sitting there on the beaches in Tofino, and you can watch them all in real time, which is pretty cool. And we saw this, I think I was kind of watching it too, but we saw these people on the beach there that were standing there watching this wave come in, and it was coming closer and closer and closer. And then as that wave got closer, they got up and ran over the logs and back up onto higher ground there. But it shows you how quickly things can change quite rapidly. So that's why they had those advisories out for people not to be on the beaches, but you get the odd stranglers going out of the beaches either way. So that was just outside of Tofino there. And yeah, it was pretty neat watching all those waves come in through the day today. I think I had a couple of people tell me that those were not tsunami waves. Yeah, those were just regular Tofino waves, but they were definitely tsunami waves. You could tell how fast and rapid these things came onto the shore there quite quickly today.
Hey, Ken, you usually have a seismograph running, but it's down for the count right now.
Yeah, that's right. I've got a Raspberry Shake seismograph. I'm no expert. I'm just a nerd. I keep it in my basement to see what happens around here. It'll pick up small local quakes, but it'll actually pick up quakes around the world, magnitude 6, magnitude 7 or higher. So I've looked at a neighbor down the street has one of these, but unfortunately he has a lot of road traffic and just too much noise in his system. So I couldn't see it there. This website here, it's part of the ShakeNet system. Raspberry Shake owners, their seismographs can be listed here to share their data. So if I was on North America, I could show you the local ones. And there is a seismograph located quite close to the quake area. I don't. Actually, I think this is probably that's the location right down here. So I'll show what that person's seismograph looks like. Actually, those are other quakes. But an interesting thing here, and I'm not sure if your other guest there talked about this already, but this is a subduction zone. It's kind of like a mirror image of what's happening around the west coast of North America. The Pacific plate is getting subducted underneath the other plate, whose name I don't know. Unfortunately, and as a result, inland of the subduction, there's a long arc of volcanoes. There's a couple of arcs here of volcanoes, volcanic island arcs, analogous to the volcanoes around here, like Mount Baker, Garibaldi, Rainier. And so similarly, they can be quite explosive due to the nature of what powers them. Lower temperature, more silica-rich, water-rich magma. So it kind of like Mount St. Helens going off underwater in a way. This is the software that I use to look at the data from my Raspberry Shake when it's working. It's called Swarm. It's a free software that apparently real seismologists use. This chart, I believe this chart is from Mount Baker. It's a government seismograph, USGS. And so you can see there's some small little quakes here. All this stuff in the lower third is probably just a local storm activity, local weather. Any kind of vibration gets picked up. But then this little smudge in the top left here is the signal, and it's surprisingly weak. The quake, I think, was 5.7-ish, 5.8, but it is very far away. But it was a very shallow, like really it's a blast. I'm calling it an earthquake, but it's a blast, and it was very shallow, not down in the crust. So the seismic waves didn't transmit so well through the earth. But it does give us a signal. A seismic. I think this actually is the seismograph that I pointed at on the map, if I loaded the right one. And again, there's a lot of noise here in it. But this big smudgy area that goes on for hours is the result of the quake. It's the signal. It's the earth ringing like a bell for a long time, and the ongoing eruption sending out. There's my son getting an achievement on the Xbox over there. That's the neat thing about when really happens somewhere far off, is you look at the seismograph and the signal will go on for hours, circling the Earth multiple times. But that signal there I think it's from Mount Baker, it's not very much above the background noise there. I can't really explain what the units are here, but it's not a very strong signal, which I'm surprised about. I don't even see it on the spectrogram view. Usually in a view like this, you'd see a big sharp rise and a bunch of colors. And if it's a distant quake, you'll see just bright colors right at the bottom here, the low frequency waves. So that's not a very pretty thing to show. But I do have something else here. A good Facebook group, USGS Volcanoes. They've got government and professional seismologists and volcanologists that post here. And they have a infrasound detector, which it picks up very low frequency sounds. You might not be able to hear them, but that pressure wave from the blast, the thing that some people did apparently hear at amazing distances, they were able to pick it up on, this is at, I believe this station was at Mount Hood. Yeah, there it is, at Mount Hood in, I think that's Washington State probably. But they say here that it's quite unusual for them to pick up a signal like this from a distant event. They pick it up from local events, construction sites, quarries, that kind of thing. But then in the comments, somebody said that they have a Raspberry Boom device, which is like the Raspberry Shake, but it's meant for infrasound. And this person was in Portland, Oregon, and he picked up what appears to be quite a strong infrasound signal from the blast. So just amazing the distances that happened. And again, I'm not sure if the other guest mentioned this, but if people in Alaska actually heard it, this might be a new winner for the loudest sound ever. The Krakatoa explosion in 1883 was considered to be the loudest sounds ever known. Heard 5,000 kilometers away, and this might beat it. And I think one more detail I can ramble about. That great picture of those two islands that was on screen earlier. I had a chance to read up. Apparently, those islands formed in 2009 when the volcano first reached the surface, and is very common for volcanic islands like that to just get washed away right away. It's unusual for them to last. An investigation after this found that there's the seawater is reacting the right way. It kind of cemented it, and it's only the third known case of a volcanic island that is actually like solidifying that will stick around in the last 150 years of these things being studied. So it's kind of a caldera from the 2015 eruption, and the new eruption, I guess, is down in there under the water, and it's making a big mess. So I think that's the meat of what I would chat about.
Mind-boggling power. Cody, have you got your microphone figured out there yet?
Let's see. Are you picking anything up? Sorry, I wasn't expecting a century-scale eruption to happen today. I would have had a proper setup. So as far as what Ken said, there is the amplitude of the earthquake on the what program was that again, Ken?
Swarm.
Majority of that energy went up into the sky, and some speculation that I'm seeing is it's in the megaton range in terms of power. Millions of tons of TNT, and that doesn't surprise me during the considering the blast. As far as what the island looks like now, we're gonna have to wait a little while, but it does seem in terms of the BI scale that not a whole lot of magma was required to create this blast. It might be the introduction of water into the system that caused that provided that extra oomph for the blast. And also one thing to consider is that the Pacific Ocean is very flat, and that allows waves to travel very well, especially pressure waves and sound waves. Yeah, how much of that did you get?
Yeah, I pretty much got all that.
Yeah, I just got to lean real close to the mic.
The other thing I'm wondering about is what the ash is going to do to in the atmosphere. What's the long-term effect? And did the fact that it happened underwater maybe reduce some of the ash and sulfur content that made it into the air?
That's something I've tussled with, and I think water would actually be a very good agent. So I'm wondering if because if you look at the satellite photos, the white plume that rises to the top is the water, not the ash. The ash is at the lower layer. But there is a part where the ash finally rises to the top, and I wonder if that I don't quite understand that. I think that underwater eruptions actually have that ability to carry the sulfur and your volatiles up into the stratosphere, and that might be, and you're already getting your water droplet.
Yeah, this was a satellite image I saved at 11 o'clock last night after this all unfolded, because I really wanted to check on the satellite imagery and see what this thing was doing. And this is what he was mentioning with the, you can see the big cloud here, right here. That is where the explosion happened here. And then right here is the sound wave right there as it gets pushed out. So yeah, this is a big cloud. And I guess there's a lot of lightning strikes with this thing too. So it wasn't just all big, dark, huge billowing cloud. There was like, I'd say at least over 1,000 lightning strikes this thing created in just this short period of time. So
it was 200,000 in an hour.
Yeah, that was insane. So that was the lightning that came out of there as well. I think someone else shared another video. I have to go find that with the lightning. So I'll quickly go find that.
There's a video that I saw earlier today, a satellite view where you can actually see the shockwave going out. And
yeah, there's a bunch of those. I can pull the sound.
So
wow.
From the beginning again. And there it is there. There's the lightning here. That's all lightning, the red and the yellows and the greens. Yeah.
It's really interesting to see how it propagates throughout the system there. You can see what I'm guessing is that explosion of red is the rising plume, all the friction, and it's perfect conditions to cause lightning.
So
particles of water, everything bouncing off each other. There's a 3 mile wide plume rising into the air, 20 kilometers, 12 miles. The Tonga Hapai volcano is 64 kilometers north of Nuku'alofa. It's hard to say that.
So for the tsunami, there have been there's 2 reported fatalities in Peru.
Okay, here's the video of lightning from Tonga. There we go. So someone put wording in front of it, but you see how frequent this stuff was last night. Just like summer. There you go. So that's the lightning from last night.
Play it again.
Tonga there.
That's in real time, right? That's not fast forwarded.
Nope, not fast forwarded. It's real time. You can hear. Yeah. So yeah, it's lightning occurs. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy last night.
I've got that video with the shockwaves if you'd like to see that. Okay, I got this. Chris Hadfield posted this on his Facebook, so I don't know what the original source is. You look around, right around the site, you can actually see the wave kind of chasing the Terminator.
You can see 2, actually. You see the initial wave going towards the sunlit side, and then a secondary wave going north. I wonder if that might be another collapse.
Yeah, it's like you might expect from an asteroid hitting.
Or a nuclear test. It could be several times the size of the largest nuclear test we've ever done, which would be Tsar Bomba at 50 and 50 megaton.
Oh, that's Tsar Bomba, the
Just
Russian.
Judging by the
64 megaton.
Oh, did it come out as 64?
What was Tsar Bomba? 64 megatons?
I remember it was originally planned to be 100 megaton, and I thought they cut it in half. But the actual air blast they created...
blast, 50 to 58 megatons of TNT, Tsar Bomba, 1961.
Yeah, Krakatoa was 200 megatons. So somewhere in between that's probably where we're at.
Krakatoa, 1883, 200 megatons.
The mechanics are
about 13,000 times the nuclear yield of Little Boy that devastated Hiroshima.
4 times Tsar Bomba.
Ejected about 25 kilometers cubed, 6 cubic miles of rock. Was heard 3,600 kilometers away in Alice Springs, Australia, and 4,780 kilometers away in Mauritius. At least 36,000 people died in that one. So.
Yeah, well, I got a simulation of that I can show you. So this is a guy, I believe, from Colorado Royal School of Mines. These videos don't have sounds, but he runs tsunami simulations. This was the big one in 1883. After that, I want to show you the more recent one in 2020.
The only plausible explanation for the size: formation collapse of a directed pyroclastic blast. In its final moments, the volcano expelled 12 cubic kilometers of ash in a column toward the northeast. Soon the debris could no longer be supported by updrafts, and the entire sheet crashed down as a high-speed pyroclastic flow. Over the next 15 minutes, the material slowed and spread pancake style. To simulate the Krakatoa tsunami, just add water.
You can see it actually blows the seafloor floor dry.
The violent collapse of the pyroclastic column blew dry the Sundra Strait for 10 kilometers around. It took 30 minutes for water to reclaim the area. Holy. Gee. Even then, the barely covered deposits made navigation between Krakatoa and Sabisi difficult for years. Pre- and post-soundings. Only by blowing dry a large area of the strait with a pyroclastic blast did the Krakatoa eruption Makes tsunami 15 to 35 meters at shore.
So this is the part where he wants to match his simulation to recorded data to make sure he's got a good simulation. So it actually looks like a very good simulation that he's done here. And so his findings were like, in order to create that much force and create the size of these waves, it would have required the sea to be blown dry around the area.
That gives us a pretty good idea of what today
So
may have looked like.
This is probably a better allegory considering that the scale. Like, I don't think we're dealing with the scale of Krakatoa. This is a not Krakatoa.
Almost everyone knows of the famous explosion of Krakatoa in 1883, which produced the loudest sound on Earth, heard nearly 5,000 kilometers away. It generated an air wave that circled the Earth. It threw ash into the atmosphere that colored world sunsets for years, and of course Krakatoa's waterborne wave is legendary. Since 1883, a new volcano has grown in the place of Krakatoa, Anak Krakatoa, or son of Krakatoa. Kaboom! Through decades of eruptive action, Anak grew to a height of 340 meters in 2018. Its most recent eruptive sequence lasted 6 months and culminated on December 22nd, when, like its father did in 1883, Anak parented a tsunami that caused widespread death and destruction. Little is known about the volcano's behavior when the tsunami was generated, but satellite images quickly confirmed that the island lost 300 meters in elevation overnight. Before, after.
And you could see the tsunami waves in that photo.
Yeah, totally. It looks like Sudbury from the air.
Yeah.
As best as anyone knows, 1883 caldera. Because much of the landslide originated below sea level, details are sketchy. The simulation suggests the collapse took about 90 seconds. Total gravitational energy released by the slide was about 9.5 to the 10, 14 joules. A lot.
Yeah.
That's what that said. A lot. The falling debris both lifted and pushed the sea forward, creating waves 50 meters tall. That pummeled the nearby islands of Rakata. 50 meters. And volcanoes often cause earthquakes and tsunamis like this. Refraction then causes tsunami to wrap around those islands, sending waves in all directions.
I think the local conditions of the seafloor definitely play a part, but I think this is a good allegory to get a good understanding of how the mechanics work in this eruption. You have your growing volcanic pile, and it oversteepens because it grows very quickly. It's not able to gradually grow, and it hits that certain plane. If it grows on a plane, you get this pile, and you get this considerable amount of weight along this plane. Any amount of overpressure it slides right off.
It'll be obviously a few days before we really know the extent of the damage and whatnot, and maybe see any videos that surface from more and more people who are nearby the event.
From what I'm hearing, internet's out on Tonga with the ashfall that I'd expect would be happening. There would be like mass power loss with ash.
I'm wondering, Brandon, what's the long-term implications of all the ash and sulfur and whatnot that's gone into the air? You know, what can we maybe hypothesize might happen
Yeah, it will be definitely something to watch over the next few days here, how this all behaves, because I know, I think it was Iceland volcano. I don't know, it was like 10 years or so ago, and the ash from that volcano went into Europe and caused a lot of issues there. So, well, as I say, depending on the jet stream pattern, where the winds blow and everything like that, then we'll probably find out if we do have an ash cloud that we're going to have to be kind of concerned about at this time. I don't think don't know if it's going to make it all the way to Canada though, because most of the depending on where, because this is kind of further to the south, so it might have impacts more for South America. So we'll keep an eye on that over the next little while here. But yeah, definitely to keep an eye on it for sure for the next few days if we do get massive ash plume, and if it does decide to ride that jet stream a little further north.
Well, we've had volcanoes in the past that have cooled the planet for a year or longer.
Yeah, that might be the case. We'll have to see how that plays out, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. When Pinatubo went off in 1991, it dropped global temperatures by 0.5 degree Celsius on average for 2 years.
So maybe some climate change mitigation here. But the sulfur may actually, in the long run, what can we speculate?
Definitely something to keep an eye on for sure, and the temperature trend over the next few years. The last few years have been well above average all across the planet here. So, yeah, definitely something to watch for in the near future for sure.
Maybe the 8 hottest years, like the last 8 years or something.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Yeah, ash cloud, 63,000 feet, 19,000 meters high. Unbelievable. Tonga, 105,000 people live there. Tonga Meteorological Services said a tsunami warning was declared for all the archipelago. And data from the Pacific Tsunami Center said waves of 80 centimeters were detected.
Definitely wouldn't be surprised with the distance they went, those waves.
They're concerned that there's islands that people haven't been in contact with. It sounds like people have fared all right. The surface area of the island appears to have expanded by nearly 45% due to ash fall, Planet Labs said the day before latest activity. Satellite images by the company show how drastically the volcano had shaped the area, creating a growing island off Tonga. Savannah Peterson watched in shock as the water rose several feet in a matter of minutes in front of her oceanfront house in Pacifica, California, south of San Francisco. Police rescued a surfer whose surfboard broke in powerful waves. Dude. Surge damaged boats, inundated low-lying streets and parking lots, sending cars afloat.
Got a tsunami video here. This is from last night as well. This is, I think this is Tonga here. The tsunami hitting there. I guess, yeah, that'd be earlier today.
Yeah, that was the initial blast that destroyed the island. And that image, as far as the timeline that I put together. Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, so this is I think this is Tonga here, or one of the islands of Tonga here with the tsunami coming on. So this is right after, I think this is kind of a little bit after the blast. There's the wave here. See if I can zoom in. I don't think I can. But you can see there's the wave coming in into this, going right through the fence. And yeah, that was inundation on the Tonga there. Tsunami waves. I don't think this video has sound.
Amazing. There's no outrunning that.
No, that's for sure. That does have sound. Okay. So here it is. I'm gonna skip ahead to the cloud. This video goes a little longer, so yeah, that's after the first initial, and here's the cloud over here.
Yeah, you could tell the islands, like that spit of land is just blowing right up.
Yeah.
So it could be sliding, but that looks like more of an explosive eruption.
All right, so there's that video there. Okay.
Can you put it on share? Oh, yeah, because you're on iPhone, so you can't share screen. I got you what you're saying. Yeah, I got it here. I'll have to edit this whole video ruthlessly, but...
Yeah, sorry, I don't think my audio issues help at all with that, eh?
No, that's okay.
it's all good.
We're not professionals here. That's the thing. Share screen. So here's the tsunami.
It's a 2-minute long video, so you might have to skip ahead.
That's okay. I'll just cut it out as we.
Oh, okay.
I'll edit it out after.
Yeah, it's quite lossy on your side, but I'm guessing you're going to be able to record a lot more of it. On your end, it probably looks a lot less choppy.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Can definitely see a haze in the sky. There's definitely sort of an orangish. So what time of day was that there, Brandon?
It's before sunset there. Yeah.
So yeah, we got definitely the sun.
Summer, yeah. So it's kind of like summertime down there. So yeah, pretty close to sunset.
Yeah, the color in the clouds there, that definitely indicates a lot of sulfur in the atmosphere, local atmosphere.
That looks like Toronto.
Yeah, and then you got this main blast here, or sorry, the sub blast, and
Look at
that must be several thousand feet in the air. Blast.
That is intense. Would you want to be filming that? Would you want to be running the other way?
Well, as soon as I
Looks like
see
the
those
wind's on
pyroclastic current, as soon as I see those pyroclastic clouds start heading towards me, I get out of dodge.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to be in a boat with those waves coming.
In the Mount Tambora eruption, it's I read one thing is the pyroclastic flows actually traveled down the mountain and across a like a narrow strait, probably like only 10 kilometers wide, onto the other island.
Always a seagull. Yeah, punching right through the cap.
The height of the plume, last I've heard, was 65,000 feet, and that's enough for a stratospheric injection. A lot of really good space photos. He's also got a photo of the blast going over Japan at about 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
I'll skip ahead to the 325. Boom. Kaboom. There she goes. Just as night falls.
And you get that perfect contrast.
Unbelievable. Maybe the biggest volcanic explosion ever seen from space.
I haven't seen a bigger one. That one on the Russian-owned northern Japanese islands.
What's his name?
Just how it propagates. Scott Manley.
Scott Manley.
And this is the nuclear test detection network. They're able to detect air blasts, and they detected that. That's your barometer pressure, Half Moon Bay.
Crossing over Japan there.
Yeah.
15-minute pressure altimeter change, January 15th. Crossing the United States. And Canada too, if it was on there.
Yeah, we don't have as many stations.
Lightning plot. This was what Brandon was showing earlier.
Oh.
Wow, that is quite the explosion. I think I'll probably cut it off somewhere here. So this was Anak Krakatoa, was it? Or was this the Tonga one as well in January?
This is the formation of the volcano. Of the brand new cone that was just destroyed. And he's explaining here that NASA studied the hell out of this thing when it was happening, because we don't get to see islands formed that often.
So yeah, these images are pretty intense. Kind of thing I don't personally. I like chasing storms and stuff. I don't know how close I want to be to something like that. I don't want to end up being one of those people who's like underneath, in the middle of a pile of ash. They always said,
why wouldn't you want to be a part of the fossil record? You get remembered for all time, as long as someone digs you up.
This pastor, Dave Overholt, I once heard him saying in a sermon, and it stuck with me for the rest of my life, all of these years later as an adult. And he said that when they dug up Pompeii, they were finding all these bodies and, people stuck in the moment, their last moment. And so they found this woman or person that they didn't know at first what it was. And obviously, as they're digging down, they're finding more and more. They're coming down in layers, and she's reaching for something. And finally, when they find what it was this bag of pearls. And his sort of story about that was how you can't take the pearls with you, or how interesting it was that was her last thought, was to grab the pearls before impending doom. And it was just sort of a reflection on, the worth of money and what, the importance we place on it.
Well, as far as she was concerned, she thought she could get out.
Yeah, they really wouldn't have known. I mean, how would you guess that something like that was coming for you? Good to see you all. And yeah, quite an event. And I'm sure we'll come back and talk about it some more. And at least that'll give everybody an idea in BC who's wondering what actually was all that tsunami talk about. It was about one hell of a volcanic explosion. Yeah, feel free to subscribe to my channel and look up these guys as well. You can find Brandon Houck on Twitter. And Ken, you run some prospecting groups and things like that. Anything you want to shout out to?
Nope, nothing relevant to this really, but thanks for having me.
Yeah, always good to see you, man. Cool. Well, on that note, I'll say good night, everyone.